Bonsai! We just watched Cobra Kai and it was amazing.
You guys, it was so fantastic. I loved it so much. We were crying, we were laughing.
That was, okay, I posted this on my Instagram. This is the single best return to a franchise, a decades old franchise.
I loved it.
That I've ever seen.
It was amazing.
It was just like perfect. Everything,
I know.
As close to perfect as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved every moment.
I mean, and the fact that they took it from the other guy's point of view.
They flipped it. They flipped the script.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so this is a series on YouTube Red, and it is a new series that is a continuation of the Karate Kid films, the original trilogy.
Right.
I guess it counts as a quadrilogy, but I don't think Danny was in that fourth one. So this starts out focused on
Johnny Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence, which is William Zabka's character, and he was the villain in the original film.
Yes.
You know, he's the guy that had the big karate fight with the Karate Kid at the end.
Right.
And this picks up like, you know, I don't know how many decades later, right?
They said like 35 years or something.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And it's like, it was sort of like with Ash in Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Ash versus Evil Dead.
He very much has that kind of personality.
Yeah, he plays it very much like that. And
he's
just
not
kind
as
of
outlandish,
this,
but
not as like humorous and like campy, but just like this guy whose life has gone all wrong, and he's, you know, always waking up on the floor, you know, with surrounded by beer cans and stuff. And it's you're basically in the first episode. You're basically getting his side of things.
Right, and you feel so bad for him. And
you do. You really do.
I mean, he's like I was rooting for him.
And all the way, because we just watched the whole series, the whole season, season 1. I'm sure there's going to be more because apparently
everybody's
loving this. And then the second episode. Focuses on Danny's side of it.
Right, LaRusso.
But through the whole season, you're rooting for William Zabka's character.
You really are rooting for Johnny, but sometimes Johnny starts to, you know, waver a little bit with his character. He goes back to his training with his old sensei. And he recognizes that he was a bad sensei, obviously, but he still uses his training that he learned from him.
Right.
And he realizes, he starts teaching this one kid who's very much, I mean, he's kind of like a Danny.
He's just like Danny, yeah, when he was a kid.
Character, yeah, a little more geeky, I guess. Yeah. And he starts teaching him to defend himself. And then that kid brings in a bunch of other kids who can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of like a rehash, but totally not at all.
And the girl that the kid is crushing on and starts dating is actually Danny's daughter.
Right.
And so from that angle, it's like, oh, so this is kind of like the original, but a little bit more like a Romeo and Juliet kind of a thing. But then they add another element, which is Johnny's son.
Yes.
Who turns out to be the one that starts training with Danny.
Right, with LaRusso.
In the very Mr. Miyagi style.
And there's a lot of like, it's very soap opera, like you mentioned. There's a lot of drama, but in a good way. And just misunderstandings.
And that's the thing. That's why you root for the Johnny character all the way through. Is like there are times when he almost starts to make friends with Danny, and it always gets like horribly misunderstandings just ruin it.
One of our favorite moments was when LaRusso and Danny end up in a car together. And
bonding over
they're bonding over Speedwagon.
Yeah, and then they end up in a bar together, just like, you know,
they're just
drinking
hanging out and stuff.
But something always messes it up, and that's that soap opera element.
And it's so sad.
But it's really well written.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. It was so much fun.
And this was written by the guys who did Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah. So, and the kid that Johnny's teaching, who starts out being sort of like the Danny type character.
Right.
Well, spoilers?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've already spoiled a bunch of stuff, so...
Okay, I didn't even
yeah, we need to put spoilers in front of this video,
put spoilers in the title of the video. Note to self. So by the end of the show, he's the one who's kind of turning bad. Well, he's been training in Cobra Kai, you know?
Yeah, a kid that Johnny is training has really taken everything that Johnny has said to heart, and he's become very cruel in a way.
Aggressive, just aggressive and like... angry about the situation because of all these misunderstandings that keep happening.
Right. And
you know, which they had in the original film, you know, things like that.
Johnny's son, who is training with Danny, of course, is getting the correct training.
Yeah.
And he started off as like a rebellious kid. I mean, like poor Johnny, he has like a really messed up life.
Yeah. And they really do hate each other, Danny and Johnny, and I'm like, you know, to a certain degree, they have a grudge. They've held a grudge. And it keeps coming back around, and it's really, the big problem with that is Danny's training his son, and he's already estranged. Johnny's already estranged from his son, and this is just making it worse. It's just like, it's very drama, but it's good drama.
But you can tell that Johnny and Danny, they both they might not like each other, but they don't really want to fight. You know what I mean? They want everything to be cool.
That's why you have those moments where they're connecting and things are almost going good, but they've got this very different history, and then they have their shared history, and it's just it's not matching up, you know. But different but the same.
Different but the same.
You know, they bring up as one of the titles of one of the episodes.
And Miyagi.
Yeah, that was a quote from Mr. Miyagi.
So they did quite a bit of, they paid a lot of respect and
a lot of homage to Mr. Miyagi, yeah.
I mean, Danny has this amazing training room and it's really interesting because he's in a way, like, he's kind of left that part of him behind a little bit.
He is like Danny has become a filthy rich car lot owner.
Which, I don't know if I like that, to be honest.
But we know that he likes cars.
I like that he's rich and he's prosperous, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, what would you have expected him to do? There was like, they showed us that he liked cars.
I thought he would have continued with his karate and like become like a teacher, you know.
But he was still into the karate. I mean, yeah, he could have become a teacher.
He used his karate to like, as a commercial to sell things.
Well, they're gonna have him, I think.
Hence the bonsai.
I think they're gonna have him. You said this too, that they're gonna have him start. Teaching karate probably, just to give some competition to Cobra Kai.
Oh, he absolutely is. I mean, at the very end. I mean, spoilers again, but at the very end of the season, he went to Mr. Miyagi's house. So apparently, Miyagi gave him his house. You know.
Yeah.
He even showed his car. His old car that he had gotten. I don't know why he didn't keep it, but he had left it at Mr. Miyagi's house.
Well, yeah, like it seems like maybe, like you said, he owns this house or something, because he has access to it.
But like I was saying, he ends up taking Johnny's son over. There's this huge tournament, you know, like the end of the first movie, and Johnny's son doesn't win. Johnny's son doesn't win, but Danny continues to teach him or is going to continue to teach him, and he takes him over to Mr. Miyagi's house and says, "This is going to be our new dojo place."
Oh, okay.
You didn't hear that?
I didn't catch that line, but yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, because the son was in the car and he was saying, you know, Dad must be really happy because the son and Johnny, they almost kind of reconciled at the end a little bit. Because he went up to him and he said, Johnny went up to him and said, "I'm sorry," and he was like, "It's okay, Dad," you know.
Did he say it's okay, Dad?
Yeah, he said, "It's okay, Dad," really.
Yeah, but sincerely, I got the impression that the kid was just like, they were both being very smug. Danny and the kid were being really like,
the kid to me
whatever, you got what you wanted. That's how they were acting.
Okay, no, Danny to me sounded smug, but the kid sounded sincere to me, because in the car, when he gets in the car with Danny and they're going to Mr. Miyagi's house, the kid says, "Well, Dad must be really happy because..." No, you know,
but he didn't say it like that. He was like, he got what he wanted. He won, you know.
But he said
they both had an attitude like all he cared about was winning.
No, he said it with a smile.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that out of that.
And then Danny was like, "Over my dead body" and stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And that's why I thought that was a good moment. I don't know. I thought that there was almost a reconciliation.
I didn't feel like, I felt like in the end the kid was just like, you know, I've got a new dad now here with, with Danny.
Yeah.
Especially because he wanted to spend time with his dad, kind of, or he was upset that he never did. But now Danny had taken him to all these places, and
we had some great moments where like Danny has basically become Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, and they do a lot of the same training stuff, but
it is awesome.
It's cleverly done.
So clever. This
very
show
funny
is
ways.
so funny and clever.
Yeah, it's not just redoing.
It's poking jokes at things and stuff like that.
At times, and at other times it's like, you know, it's totally straight up legit, like.
It's just
true to the movies.
Yeah,
know?
We watched the.
It's not like a parody, or it's not like Gremlins 2 or something. This is like a serious sequel. But
and we watched the first movie, the original film,
right after
that we finished the series, and it's just like it all connects together, and it's just great. It almost has that same feeling. I mean, I know that the original film is a little more serious, I guess. Yeah, because this is definitely like a.
This one gets a little funnier, but yeah.
But and I like all the kids in it. I think they're really funny.
They have a lot of great new kids in it. That Hawk kid.
Yeah.
But although he gets kind of mean toward as it goes on.
I know.
Well, they get very into Cobra Kai, you know.
Well, what's interesting is that Johnny creates this Cobra Kai based on the teachings of his sensei.
Right.
And at the end of it, you see his face, and it's almost like he's like, oh my gosh, I created a monster.
Yeah. He's like learning, because at the beginning, that new kid, the one that's sort of encouraging him and pushing him to open this
dojo.
karate dojo, he's this really good influence on him until, you know, kind of like reverses, because he
gets angry.
At the same time, he's being not so good of an influence on the kid, and the kid really looks up to him and everything, even though at the beginning he's just like drunk all the time.
Right.
It's an amazing, like really fascinating, like evolution of the characters just watching. And yeah, you really do feel bad for Johnny.
Ed Asner, he's in it too.
Ed Asner's in it, I think like twice, or I think they just have him like twice.
He plays.
And then they have flashbacks where it's like a different actor as him, but
right, he plays Johnny's stepdad.
Really mean, horrible stepdad. Yeah, you get insight into Johnny's home life that, you know, you wouldn't have guessed with the movie, but it was totally plausible. Yeah. Yeah, guys, it was really incredible.
I mean, we could not stop watching it. It was so amazing. So please stop what you're doing and go watch it.
Check it out.
And I mean, you get 30 days free on
30
YouTube
days free
Red,
YouTube Red. It only takes a day or two to watch this.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, so good. I'm trying to think if there's anything we should mention. There's somebody appears the very last, like, minute or two that is a shock.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to spoil that.
We
I don't want to spoil that.
We already spoiled it.
Okay. Big spoiler.
Yeah.
It's I'm forgetting the character's name.
It's Johnny's sensei.
But it's Johnny's original sensei, who he kept saying was dead. Now, I don't remember the second or third movies, and I'm gonna watch them after we film this. But Johnny kept saying he was dead. And but then he comes into the dojo.
Right, and he tells Johnny, and Johnny's just like awestruck, and he does not know what to think, because he knows that he was a bad man, that he tried to kill him. You know. But
and I also want to say, even though Johnny is like trying to stick to the Cobra Kai like mottos and things of like how to do things, he does kind of tweak it. He's not as harsh, quite as harsh as the other guy. No. As his sensei was.
And he's just, and you really feel for him, because he's just like a normal dude, and he's really trying to.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out.
He's trying to make something, he's trying to be a better person. Like, you see him evolving as he's like training these kids. He slowly stops drinking so much, and he kind of quits some of his vices, although sometimes he goes back to them. But
and
like,
really, it's just like this sensei that he had was the only like you know,
Father
teacher he
figure,
ever had.
yeah.
Father figure, teacher of any kind, you know. I mean, he had his mom, but, you know, it didn't seem like he got too much
I love that shot.
learning from her.
I love those flashbacks they had of when he was a kid and he sees the Cobra Kai place for the first time. That was really cool. And let's talk about the music in this series. Oh my gosh,
yeah, really good.
So awesome.
Yeah, this hits a lot of nostalgic chords and everything.
Yeah.
The whole like show, but it's not just good because of that, because it's really good nostalgia. It's actually genuinely good. It's amazing. Good. I mean, I don't have anything else to say. It was just incredible. At that last moment when the old sensei comes in, you're just like, no!
Because I don't want Johnny to be corrupted. Like
every time something bad happens to Johnny, you feel so bad for him.
At the end of the tournament and everything, you recognized that Johnny knew that he knew that he had created something that he needs to like tweak the teachings a little bit, because the kids have gone, his kids that he's taught have gone a little sour.
He doesn't even have any control over them hardly. They're just like, you told us to be aggressive, so we're gonna do it, you know? And he's like, look, he was saying in the tournament, I want to win this fair, you know, I don't want to win it dirty, but he had no control over them.
Whereas in the original film, he's the one who's like, I don't want to fight. He's also saying, I don't want to fight dirty. And the sensei was like, no, fight dirty. And part of the big thing is that he was there watching his kid get the crap beat out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his own kid. It was kind of weird.
So he was very conflicted.
When it came down to it was his own kid versus his own student, you know? Yeah. And so it was... Yeah, it was just really good, man.
So awesome. You guys check it out.
Highly recommended. Get YouTube Red, even if it's just for trial, and check this out.
Holiday fun.
2 thumbs up. Yeah. Okay, that's all. We just had to make this video, guys.
Yeah,
we weren't planning to do this, but we were so blown away by this show. So amazing. I mean, literally. It might be my favorite show right now. I was going to say that. I'm serious. Honestly, I've been saying for a long time. Things for me, I've been saying Gotham and Stranger Things for a long time, and then Walking Dead. And, you know, we've lost Once Upon a Time already, but we didn't even watch the final season of that. But yeah, this show, this is my favorite show. I don't remember ever feeling so like enthralled and excited about a show before. I do know that when Stranger Things comes around, I'm like, yes, but yeah, we get pretty into Stranger Things. But this has the combination. Well, Stranger Things has nostalgia too. It's different. But this is like, I mean, you know the characters already. Same actors, yeah. And they're back, and you're getting to know, not only catch up with them, and it's logical like directions that they went into. It makes sense. I know. It makes sense. As they progress, they start doing things you want them to do, like you know, getting back at it and teaching students. You know, you know the whole Star Wars thing that happened. Oh my God! Luke Skywalker. It's like this is pretty much what we wanted from a Star Wars movie. Yeah. And again, I loved Last Jedi, but I admit, you know, I would have written it differently. You know, everybody wanted to see Luke with his students and, you know, being the good guy again. And Danny's not the bad guy in this. No, he's not. You're on his side too. It's just you know that there's a good person in Johnny, and nobody hardly sees it except for his students, but they were getting warped by the teachings. Right. It's crazy. It's just so good, guys. And there are so many little moments. Like there was this one moment where Johnny's kid that he's teaching is like doing the wax on movement, and he's like, Sensei, is there any way you want me to? He's cleaning the windows. Yeah, and he's like, is there any particular way you want me to clean the windows? And Johnny's like, no, I don't give a shit. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, that's in one of the trailers. It is so funny. And then when he does his little... Danny does his little thing. When Johnny's son is injured in the tournament, you think that Danny's going to do this Mr. Miyagi thing, and he does. And then he just calls for a medic. It was hilarious. And yet, you know, the show is not parody comedy. It just has funny moments. It's just so good. It's amazing. And they actually, like,
I mean, they talk about what happened to Elizabeth Shue's character. They actually have a conversation in the bar, and Johnny's and Danny's like, "Are you serious? Have you not seen her on Facebook?" And Johnny's like, "What's Facebook?"
Johnny does not know any of that stuff. He's sort of like, it's.
I love it.
He's very much like, and it's not a total copy, but he's a lot like Ash.
I love it because if I had a choice, because of my entertainment stuff, you know, that I have to have internet and everything, if I had a choice, I wouldn't be on Facebook or anything like that. So I connect with Johnny a lot.
Yeah, and that makes for a lot of the comedy, his like lack of knowledge of things, modern technology and stuff. But yeah, it's
so awesome. Oh yeah, when he's trying to go around advertising his dojo, and he's just not getting anywhere. It's so sad because
he's trying so hard.
No, I feel so bad.
But it works out. But then something else always happens. It's that soap opera thing. Something else always comes up. And it's gonna go on that way forever. But it's good. It's really good.
It's so good. Oh yeah, even Danny said, he was like, "This is never gonna be over." I hope that they have Thanksgiving dinner someday.
There was that moment where they came so close to being friends.
They were like walking home from the bar drunk.
Oh man, and something happened. You brought up Elizabeth Shue's character, and because like there was a part there where I was, because Johnny's single, you know,
right,
and I was like, they should bring back Elizabeth Shue's character and have her end up with Johnny. They sort of wrote that off to where she's already married and has a really nice life.
Right.
They're doctors and everything, and I mean, not that you can't write things like to change that up, but but that would have been interesting.
You know that if they get Elizabeth Shue, they'll just bring her on.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe they're just gonna see if they ever can, because we did not expect that final character appearance.
No.
Yeah, it's so sad that Mr. Miyagi is gone.
They did a lot of great things.
And they also, of course, had an episode where it ended and it was like, in memory of...
Oh God, and I was crying. I cried a lot in this show.
This was a show for crying and a show for laughing. It's so good. I'm gonna keep saying that, but yeah, check this out, guys. If you like the nostalgic stuff, but even if anything about the show sounds interesting, because it is just a good show.
It really is.
Okay. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
Bye.